Hello everyone and welcome back to another Fam2Cents cooking video. And first things first, I want to thank you guys for getting the channel up to 600 subscribers. Our milestone for the year is still 1,000, and at this pace I know we can hit it, guys. Just keep sharing and keep putting those videos out, because YouTube is just not doing a good job of doing it, unfortunately, and I need all the help and support that I can get. So keep showing your love. Share these videos to everybody who you know that enjoys food and likes watching food videos, and we should get there in no time. So I'm really excited about this video I'm putting out today because I'm doing orange chicken. For the first time in my life, I've never made it before, or I've never actually had it homemade before, so this will be interesting. This will be really good. The real deal, I'm hearing, is worlds apart from, you know, what fast food places and other places can provide to you. So I am excited to see the results. So let's go ahead and hop right into this. It should be really good. Alright guys, kicking this off, we're going to cut up some chicken thighs into little kind of chunks. I decided to go with chicken thighs because I like dark meat and the meat tends to be juicier when you cook it this way. So I've decided to go that route. It's up to you if you want to use breast or thighs, but I'm doing thighs in this recipe. So as I said, you want to cut them into nice sized chunks, similar to what you would see, about the size you would see at restaurants when you get something like sesame chicken or orange chicken or anything like that. And I'll be doing two batches today. I'll be doing one batch with simply the flour mixture, and I will be doing another batch with a battered mixture after the flour, and we'll see how that goes. Now, as of late, I have really been starting to come to the conclusion that I'm just not a fan of egg washes and batters and all that stuff. I'm a strictly flouring the chicken or protein kind of guy, and no matter how much time passes or how many times I try to do egg washes or do any other wash beforehand, when you're frying chicken of any sort for any reason, I've just discovered that I just like the taste and the texture better when you don't put it in anything, like no buttermilk or no eggs, none of that. It just tastes better to me and feels better suited to my cooking style that way. So I think as a general rule, I'm just gonna start going that route because I don't know, man. I've been experimenting for years, and it's definitive at this point. So totally up to you how you want to do it. As I said, I'm going to do it both ways in this video for comparison's sake, and let you guys know how it ends up in the end. But seasoning the chicken was very simple, nothing too crazy, just salt and pepper. For this recipe is all I use to season the chicken directly, and I put a little onion powder and garlic powder in the powder mixture, or not in the powder mixture, in the flour mixture. Also, I put some cornstarch in there too, because I've become accustomed to using a mixture of flour and cornstarch because it coats the chicken just a little bit better, in my opinion. So that's what I decided to do here. As you'll see here, I went ahead and added the flour to a bowl. The ratio is about 2 cups of flour per half cup of cornstarch, and that's at least what I do. Depending on how much chicken you're making, that'll vary, but as you can see, I used, if you look back at the beginning of the video, I used a pretty large pack of chicken breast, and I used all of it. So after you do that and you season, you add your cornstarch and your flour to the bowl and you season it. You want to give it a really good stir, and then take about 1/4 of that seasoning or flour mixture, switch it into a separate bowl and add water, and the consistency you're looking for is very thin batter, kind of almost to like a very thin pancake consistency, like a little bit thinner than you would make your pancake mix if you were making pancake mix, for example. And what I put into the seasoning was a little garlic, onion, and a little cayenne. The cayenne was optional. I put cayenne in everything because something's wrong with me, I think. But yeah, onion powder, garlic powder, and cayenne pepper. into the flour, mix it up, take a fourth of that flour, put it in a bowl, add water. You got your battered mixture in there. You're good to go. And as I said, I'm going to take half of this chicken and I'm going to just flour it and leave it at that. In the other half, I'm going to flour it and then toss that floured chicken into the batter and allow that to go into the fridge and marinate for the time it takes me to cook the first batch. So we're going to cook the first batch that's simply floured, and then afterwards we're going to take the other batch out of the fridge that's in the battered mixture, and we'll cook that separately. Another reason why I don't really like dealing with the batters too is because it's just messy when you want to fry it. Like you're trying to take it out of the batter, it kind of gets everywhere. You got to be really careful with how you dip it in there, or, you know, I just don't like dealing with it, you know. I don't want to deal with it. So as I said before, it is totally up to you guys if you want to go that route. This was not the preferred route for me at the end of the day, but I'll show you the results when it gets to that point. So the frying process is fairly straightforward. It's the same as when you fry pretty much anything else. You want to make sure that your temperature is up to at least 375, so when you put the chicken in there or whatever you're frying, it comes down to the ideal temp of 350, and you just want to fry until golden brown, or, you know, whatever texture it is you want it to be. But obviously you don't want to cook it too long because you don't want it to be dry. Less opportunity to dry though if you're using thighs and dark meat, because it's just tends to be a little juicier in this scenario. But you're probably going to want to cook it for anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes. That should be just enough to get it nice and golden brown and keep it juicy on the inside. A little longer if you like it a little darker is up to you. And then take your little spider wire or whatever it is you call that, and take your chicken out, place it onto a rack, and allow it to drain onto that rack and cool. And then you can start working on your second batch, the battered version, which, as I said, was not my preferred method, but you know, it may be different for you. This is what the result is going to look like when it's done. Good, evenly coated, small little chunks of chicken, perfect for you to toss in that orange sauce that we're going to go ahead and make right after this. And this right here is ideal. This is ideal for me. This is exactly how I like my chicken. Not super heavily coated, but definitely breaded. And like I said, man, I've tried all the other methods, and I'm just not a fan. I mean, I don't not like them. I just prefer this significantly more. So there you go. That's a beautiful shot right there. But now it's time to make the orange sauce, which is the most exciting part, because as I said, I've only had that stuff that they give you at restaurants, so I'm excited to make what is considered to be the real thing. So the ingredients you're going to use here are fairly simple, and are probably going to vary as far as how much you use, depending on how much actual of the sauce you want to make, or how much chicken you actually have. So we're going to go with about 2 tablespoons of oil, about a teaspoon of red pepper flakes if you decide to use those or not. We're going to go with 2 tablespoons of sugar, and or brown sugar, or both. Maybe 1 tablespoon of the sugar and 1 tablespoon of the brown sugar. We're going to need about half a cup of orange juice. We're going to need the zesting of 1 orange, about a tablespoon and a half of soy sauce, and about 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. And that's pretty much what you're gonna need to mix this. Oh yeah, and the last thing I forgot, sorry, is about a clove or 2 of garlic. Not a lot, just about a clove or 2 of garlic, just to kind of get that going. And you want to mix that up, and you want to boil it on medium, or not boil it, but you want to let it simmer on medium high until it starts to thicken up. What I decided to do was toss the orange peels directly in there with it, and allow that to just kind of infuse into the flavor. Using real oranges and real orange juice or whatever is very beneficial to this recipe. And what I mean by real orange juice is just that you would want to make sure that it's 100% pure orange juice and not made from concentrate. it makes a difference. And the two or three times that I've made this, I didn't have access to what I needed, so I had to kind of finagle. And it does actually make a difference. You want to make sure you have orange juice on hand, and juicing an orange is just not enough, because you'll need to do several of them, and that gets kind of crazy. So just make sure you have orange juice on hand. Try to make sure that it is pure orange juice, and you know, the rest of the ingredients just kind of fall into place. You don't need to add like a cornstarch slurry here to thicken it up, because it doesn't really need to be that thick. It's kind of a thinner sauce. Or you can if you want it to be that thick. That's a totally different scenario, but it was perfect the way it was here. This is the first time I've ever actually zested anything into any food that I've made. I've never done that, like ever. I don't think. Maybe a lemon one time, and that's all I can think of. Maybe a lemon. I can't remember, but I don't recall ever doing this. So this sauce was excellent. It was excellent, and like I said, you probably want to make a little bit more than what you need, just so you can have some more on hand. So if you want to make some more, not have to make the sauce again, I definitely recommend it. But there you go. That is the sauce. After everything is all said and done, you should have a wonderful, wonderful dish that looks just like this. Maybe you don't have broccoli. Maybe you've decided not to be bougie and put 2 orange slices on the end. But there it is, beautifully coated, glazed, wonderfully orange chicken. Now, I ate this in this form, exactly how I made it here, and it was heaven. It was heaven. Like, from the first bite, I swore I would never ever go to a fast food place for orange chicken again. I refuse to. I literally can't do it, because I would feel cheated every time I did. This is orange chicken right here. It's so good. So very good. But as I promised earlier, I have done this chicken both ways, so it is time to cook the battered version. We've go ahead and taken it out of the fridge, and we're going to toss it into our oil. Same deal, about the same time cooking. There's no huge difference there. The only difference is things get a little bit messier. There's little particles and stuff that pop up in there from the batter that break off of the chicken that you have to scoop out of there and stuff. You got to kind of really pay attention to this, because you don't want it to stick. You don't want those pieces and stuff to stick together. So you have to be careful at how you put it in there and all that good stuff. It's a messy, much slower process. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of the process here. Not a fan of having to deal with all the extra stuff that comes with the extra particles in there from the batter and that separating and needing to scoop that out. Like I said, this version did not taste bad. I don't think it tasted bad at all. I just rather not deal with this. So and to be honest, the other way tasted better for me. So as I said, you fry it about the same time, maybe just a little bit longer, because you're gonna want to have your heat or at least your temp down to like 325, 300 around this point, because you don't want it to cook too quickly and burn that. And like I said, having them stick is a pain in the butt. But once you're done with that and you've cooked this batch up, it should look something like this. Now, if you're looking at this, this actually looks more like what it should look like. This is more of the texture and form that it comes in when you get it from the restaurants. You can definitely tell that it has been battered, and this is about right. Now, if you make sure that you put the orange chicken sauce on the chicken while it's really hot, right after you take it out, and you also make sure that the sauce is relatively hot, you can still kind of get that crunch factor from it that makes it taste really good. That gives it that real almost fast food like feel to it, but it still tastes good. You could definitely tell it's homemade, and the sauce definitely tastes better in this instance, but you get that almost feel from it. If you wait any longer than that, what tends to happen is the batter itself starts to soften up, and it doesn't really hold up all that well, and it becomes kind of chewier, like you would get from a fast food place, and softer as opposed to a crispy exterior, which I really like. I like it when it's crispier and not all soft and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. you want to sauce these as soon as they come out while they're still crispy, and you want to put that sauce on there while that's hot too, because it'll still adhere to the chicken, but it won't make it soggy because there won't be like a cool down and stuff like that. And that's the best way to enjoy it if you're going to cook it this way. As I said before, and I'll say it again, this is not my preferred way. There's too many extra things that you got to worry about or consider in this case that I just don't feel like dealing with. But it's up to you if you'd like to do so. The last one was better. Let me show you that picture again because it's just super sexy. And this is the way right here. This is Satsu's way, approved way to make orange chicken. And as I said, after this experience, I will never, ever eat it from another place again. I just can't do it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys on the next one.